Puerto Rico needs a lot of help and a lot of time ahead. Our Fox News correspondent-at-large, Geraldo Rivera, is live at the San Juan airport. I've been reading a lot about this airport, Geraldo. I'm hearing that it's a mess there.
It is a mess. It's jammed. The main terminal is jammed, Shep, with people desperate to get out of Puerto Rico. At the urging of the governor, Ricardo Rosselló, he says anybody who doesn't have to be here should leave. The problem is there have been so few flights out. United Airlines stepped up to the plate, amidst stories of price gouging and flights canceled for a week or two even. United has put on a 777 flight that was leaving for Chicago. I've been on an aircraft carrier for the last couple of hours. I don't know if the 777 took off, but the United offered it free of charge to get people out of here. What the governor wants is people bringing supplies or supplies desperately needed. I mean, it is, to me, almost mind-boggling how slow the relief effort has been. There was one relief flight all day yesterday. They were trying to swap out the air traffic controllers here at the San Juan airport, and it doesn't seem that the pedal has been put to the metal yet. If you get my meaning, this is a catastrophe. With food supplies are short, but with no water and no power. Everyone's using generators. The generators need fuel, so you have these 6 to 8 hour lines at the airport, Shep, and it is very melancholy and depressing. And you want very much for this machine, this relief machine, to get up and going. I mean, these kids in the white here are from the Mormon church. They're leaving. They've been here since Irma. On my right, your left, these are New York firefighters. They just got here. But what is desperately needed, it's like that old song, you need a lineman from the county, Glenn Campbell song. We need telephone poles. We need people that know how to put the grid back in action. We need people who can, imagine if you live in a 12th story of a condo and you have no water and you have no electricity. Every time you flush the toilet, you need a gallon of water. Where the hell are you going to get it? I mean, the situation is getting more and more dire. I appreciate what I just heard, the tail end of the feds and the Commonwealth officials getting together to mount a real effective relief effort. But because this doesn't have the drama of the winds blowing and the floods, creeping up, my fear is that the people don't recognize that this is a slowly unfolding human catastrophe, a disaster from one end, Shep, of this island to the other. Back to you.
A lot of concerns, Geraldo, about the very old and the very young, how they'll refrigerate their food and their medicine, and how they'll be able to survive these difficult weeks ahead. Do we need to be thinking of a bigger plan?
What I would do, Shep, my God, you really hurt me with that question. What I would do is you need ships full of generators. That's what you need. You need, people want to send ice, the ice will melt. They want to send food, the food will spoil. The old timers with their medicine, they need it 3 times a day. They need it refrigerated. We just left the Kearsarge, the aircraft carrier, the helicopter carrier, of course run by the Navy. Marines are now ashore. They are visiting hospitals. They are bringing generators to them. That's the kind of pragmatic, ruthlessly practical aid they need here. They don't need good wishes. Even money doesn't cut it. What we need here is to get this island back on the grid. It is in the dark ages now, Shep.
And for the generators, you need fuel. And would there be enough of that? I mean, would there be a possibility of mounting a huge generators relief ships, as you mentioned?
As far as I know, by the time I got on the aircraft carrier, before I lost comms with the main island, the big port of Ponce was still not operational. San Juan is not operating at night, the big harbor here in the capital of San Juan. That's what you need. You need bulk here. There are 3.4 million people. It's one thing if a disaster strikes and there's 50,000 people, 100,000 people. 3.4 million people, many of whom are elderly because of the financial crisis here. Many of the able-bodied, the strong middle class, they've gone to Florida already. They've gone to New York. They saw Irma coming. They saw Jose and now Maria. And what's left is the old folks. And I'm getting all these texts. I could read you texts from getting from my family in the Bronx because I've only reached some of my relatives. There are others in other parts of the community that no one has heard from still. I don't believe that I think that they're okay, but they are out of touch. The cell service, there's no cell service here. I mean, it's very, very, very spotty, and it's very frustrating because there's no coordination. And I tell you, when I go on the roads this long after the hurricane and still see telephone poles sitting across the highway or big road signs crushed into the middle lane of a 3-lane highway, my point here, Shep, is that this is an extremely dire situation that unless it's going to become the kind of screwed up response that Katrina was, we have to see practical results, and the practical results are put some people back online, get some temporary cell towers up. You know, rather than those big C-5s and the C-130s and the C-17s sitting on the tarmac here, why aren't emergency air traffic controllers? Why aren't the skies filled with commercial airliners bringing supplies in, practical supplies in? This has been, I'm not criticizing anybody. Don't get me wrong here, but this. And that's why I won't use the term bungled response, but it has been an extremely uneven response, Shep.
Geraldo Rivera with the facts on the ground. They need generators. America, get them generators.